Mouz consists of almost all new players to Tier 1 Counter-Strike, but in only 5 months as a full roster, they've managed to become a top 2 team in the world. This video will be breaking down how Mouz managed to crush Cloud9 after being down 7-1 in the Blast World Finals 2023. Mouz started the series with a quick and convincing 13-1 on their map pick Mirage, with Cloud9 now getting their turn on Ancient. By round 8, Cloud9 was looking strong and held a 7-1 lead. However, this would only be the beginning of a 12-round slaughter by Mouz. The first round of the streak starts with standard mid control from Exertion and Yimfat. It's important to look at the second player's role here, because he's the fail-safe if the other team rushes mid. If Exertion doesn't get those 2 kills, Yimfat is far enough away from the flashes that they barely do anything, so by coming out of the house smoke late, he's actually doing more by doing less. It's also important to note that it's only good if the T smoke the mid molly, because otherwise Yimfat can't help fight the same angles as Exertion. Mouz were planning on fighting down B, so as a cheetah player, Suhei is throwing normal utility to deny a cat rush. This takes pressure off the mid players so they don't have to worry about cat while they initially take mid, but because they find round-winning kills in mid, they decide to cancel the B fight. Suhei somewhat overstays his welcome in cheetah, but this is fine because he's just spotting down mid and B, not fighting it. Once Brolin takes contact on bottom B, Suhei peeks out to help fight, and the round is over with 5 Mouz players alive. While this is going on, Brolin's doing standard B util because Mouz were planning on fighting down B this round. Because these kills happen in mid, he knows his job is to stay alive now, and he falls back to a safe, deeper anchor position. Round 10 has a similar setup to the last, but there's some important differences. First, Mouz throw similar mid utility, but opt for a double molly rather than a deep mid smoke. They do the same type of mid fight, but because there's no contact on mid, they stick to their previous plan of taking deep B control. Brolin throws the same utility and walks down close to the doors, while Suhei goes into the B cubby to trade any T's popping through. After B is clear, the mid players play a mid setup to deny any mid repops, and with this, the map is locked down and all bases are covered. Another important detail I hadn't mentioned in the previous round is that Torji is holding A, and even if it is only one player, he has an op, but the chances of him getting a pick on a Cloud9 execute are pretty high. Cloud9 throw an A fake to bait rotates, but Mouz doesn't bite and in turn gets a flurry of round-winning kills thanks to the crossbar they were set up in. Exertion and Yimfat find a lurk kill in mid, and the last Cloud9 player isn't able to save. This round is a perfect example of protocols. You plan to take B, but you need to get mid. And if you get mid, but you get kills in mid, you cancel fighting B. These simple protocols should come naturally the more you play in a team setting, but these 2 rounds are perfect examples of it. Round 11 starts with an adjustment from Cloud9. They recognize that Mouz are putting a lot of pressure on mid and B, so Perfector throws this cat smoke that blocks any mid peeks or cheetah peeks, essentially giving Cloud9 a pocket of safety in B ramp while they set up their rounds. Even if they decided against going into B ramp, this one smoke forces the CTs to commit to a fight at B if they want to clear it, creating enough noise for Cloud9 to realize and go to the other side of the map. After Cloud9 takes cheetah control, Suhei tries to retake alone. This is pretty grief because they had Exertion pushed into A main, so the only logical places Cloud9 could be were mid and B. And if they were B, they would definitely be in cheetah. Thanks to some luck and a movie round from Torji, Mouz pull it back to secure their 4th round of the game. This next round is a great example of what an anchor's job is. So Yimfat smokes mid early and goes donut to listen for an A rush. He used his smoke already, so he can't play in sight. He's also solo towards the A side of the map, so he can't die either. If he dies, the T's will be able to take enough control to deny a retake, so his sole job here is getting info and living. Even if he gets a kill, him dying will lose Mouz the round more often than not. Even though he ends up dying, if he was able to get away and back into donut safely, this would have been a perfect example of how to anchor site flow utility. Mouz pull off a pretty clean retake, and again, win a round with 4 players alive. Going into the next half, Suhei calls a standard but solid T-pistol. He puts the bomb in the middle of the map, and players towards the extremities to find out what setup Cloud9 is running. These types of pistols are extremely good against teams like Cloud9 on all maps, because Boomage is known to call aggressive CT sides. This makes it easy for teams to figure out where the Achilles heel of the CT setup is, but only if you can find it before your players get wiped out. Luckily enough, 3 Cloud9 players come sprinting down B ramp, and Suhei makes the call to go A. Notice how long Torji lives here. He's trying to delay the CTs as long as possible so that Mouz have more time to get into good post plans. This ends up winning Mouz the round, because after every Mouz player dies, Boomage misses the defuse by just milliseconds. After a clean eco round, Mouz find themselves in their first gun round versus a Cloud9 full buy. Suhei calls a mid control, but let's break this down real quick. Torji smokes fast house, and with a deep cheetah smoke by Yimfat, Suhei sprints up cat right until he gets above the Tetris boxes, making sure not to peek too far into mid. When Suhei hits cheetah entrance, Yimfat throws mid flashes for Exertion to come through the CT's mid smoke. The timing on the flash ensures that Exertion and Suhei can trade off of each other in mid, and that's what ends up happening. While this is going on, Torji realizes Cloud9 was fighting for mid, so he takes a gamble assuming there's only one B player, and just runs him down. This ends the round, and forces the two Cloud9 players left over to save. Just like how Mouz ran their first two CT gun rounds, they ran their second T gun round very similar to the first, but with some changes. The same utility was thrown towards mid, with Suhei again running up cat, but this time the Mouz players were stacked towards A main. The idea of this round is that if Cloud9 wanted to deny their mid control with 3 players and play retake on A, Mouz would be able to catch the gap and have a free bomb plan on A. What actually ends up happening is Cloud9 play 3 towards A, so surely Mouz should lose this round, right? Wrong. Torji hits a blind round to Boomage, and with 2 quick kills from Exertion when they split mid, Mouz win another gun round with 5 players alive. The next round is just an absolute slaughter. Cloud9 try to go for a B ramp fight with 2 players, and it doesn't work at all. Electronic gets lasered in house, and it all crumbles apart. Great save attempt from Perfecto at the end, but this round pretty much just secures the win for Mouz. There's not much explaining to do here. I mean, they just owned. This next round is actually a pretty cool strat that Mouz run. Suhei runs out mid with a donut smoke and a house smoke, getting close to house immediately. After a few seconds, he lines up a smoke that is usually used to split A through house. However, this smoke is going to be used for deep B after his team takes site. This smoke causes confusion in the Cloud9 camp, and Brolin is able to just waltz into B site, picking up 2 free kills in cave and making it look easy. Once again with mid control, Mouz decide to work in a donut with the op going mid. The op being in donut is especially powerful because of how many long angles there are to hold. An opper can sit back donut and hold CT, temple run out, or even flank, and this makes donut a power position for oppers. Once the donut and A players are killed, Mouz can now just flood the site, but bomb was left behind. This makes the round awkward and gives Cloud9 probably their best chance of winning around the whole half. Torji keeps it going though, and after a free kill on the Boomage with a nade out, Cloud9 are forced to save again. On the final round, Cloud9 finally decide to fight for mid, but it's too late. They've lost too many rounds because of how long it took to make this adjustment, and the game is pretty much over. Mouz throw a B fake, assuming that Cloud9 would make this adjustment, while Suhei and Jimfat walk out A. It's important to mention that once they got onto site undetected, they split up. This is because they knew Cloud9 will 100% be aware of this possibility, but by splitting up, it ensures that at least one of the 2 lurks will catch a round-winning gap. Fortunately for Mouz, both of them do. Yimfat gets his kill in donut, and Suhei's lurk makes for quite the moment on the Blast broadcast.
Finals diminishing for Cloud9. Perfecto not checking. He's gonna get right
no,
from the
don't
back.
do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, he's going
do
for
it.
it. Oh, he slows that
do it.
as well. It is done, Henry. Oh, and with humiliation on top.
God.
To sum it all up, this game is a display of why Mouz deserve to be where they are. Even though they're less experienced, they still manage to not only out-aim, but outthink their opponents in many situations. Suhei is a young and hungry IGL who hasn't truly made a name for himself yet, and the same goes for pretty much everyone on the team. Although they just lost Frozen, and that spot will leave big shoes to fill for Brolin, if there's any team that could perform against the odds in an underdog scenario, it would be this Mouz roster. Thanks for watching, and leave a like if you want more content like this, as this is my first demo breakdown, and I'll see you next time.